This is an action study entitled Stress-Free Curriculum by Andrea O'Meara for Bowling Green University Class EDTL 6380. Introduction to the problem. Anxiety is a problem that plagues many people. It can affect jobs, home life, and academic careers. According to Diana Demmer and Lauren Meldries, it has been estimated that test anxiety is a significant issue affecting 20 to 30% of the student population. Astounding numbers when you consider that many of the educational communities consider test anxiety a modification issue, something that can be fixed by simply teaching the student strategies to reduce the stress. It is not taken seriously. This is unfortunate due to the fact that many of these students will have to find a way to combat this problem alone, unless teachers find a way to identify and help these students through what could be a devastating portion of their lives. Without help, these students will fall through the cracks. Unable to show what they know, they may fall into a low opinion of self and maybe never be able to express their true potential. Also, with the event of high-stake testing looming over our children and teachers, I feel that accommodations have to be considered for those who experience this dilemma. Unfortunately, anxiety in the classroom setting is not addressed adequately, and this has to change. Action research. For my study, I will evaluate a specific hybrid blended curriculum and determine if it will reflect a positive learning environment for students who do not or do experience anxiety in the general classroom environment. Research discussion. It is the intention of this study to lead a conversation of an issue associated with anxiety, namely in the educational setting, and explore the practices that can be infused into the curriculum to reduce its effects. Procedure. This study was designed for 10th grade students who were taught a specific curriculum using different deliveries. The first semester of 10th grade students were taught using a traditional platform. The units studied were delivered through teacher-centered instruction, while the second semester students were taught using a student-centered approach. Their units of study were mainly accessed online with teacher guidance as needed. Data was gathered from the two groups of 10th grade students. The students were given a pre-test to determine their prior knowledge and then given a post-test to evaluate student learning. Student post-test scores were then compared to determine the difference in marks between 10th grade students who completed curriculum online versus teacher-directed curriculum. An independent sample t-test was used. Code 1 was used for first semester students. Code 2 was used for second semester students. Just to recap, procedure was 10th grade students are used for this study. Curriculum designed for an entire semester. A snapshot of a unit that existed in the curriculum was taken. Results were taken from pre- and post-test evaluating students' learning growth. Paired sample t-test used to compare the 10th grade students' post-test scores. The graph shows that the online blended students did perform slightly better than the students who received the teacher-centered instruction, although both groups of students were successful at reaching the desired 30% learning growth that they needed to have at the end of the semester. Let's take a moment to look at this graph. This was the graph of the first semester. You can see there is a drastic difference between the post-test and the pre-test and the post-test. Now, all the scores were not above the 25 mark, which would be 100%. But they also don't fall below the 30%, 20% mark. Okay. Now let's take a look at the hybrid online setting for second semester. Their post-test was comparable to the first group that I had, but their post-test scores were higher. This information led to testing the hypothesis, which states students who participate in the online blended information literacy unit did significantly impact the post-test scores when compared to non-participants. If you look at the t-test, you can see that the results of the hypothesis test, p equals 0.0157, which is less than 0.05, so we have significance to reject the null. Therefore, we conclude that the 10th grade students who participated in the online blended information literacy unit did significantly impact the post-test scores when compared to the 10th grade students who did not participate in the online blended information literacy unit. Conclusion. It is vital that educators are aware of their influence on student success. They should always seek to utilize best practices in education that will enhance a student's ability to learn. When the student does learn the concepts, they should be given a chance to demonstrate their knowledge. If they are having trouble expressing their knowledge, steps need to be taken to solve the difficulties that stand in the way of the student's success. Teachers can help students achieve this goal by making their curriculum reflect a positive learning environment. This study has suggested that using a blended online platform could be the answer to reaching those students who fall through the cracks due to anxiety in the classroom. This program could prove to be an inviting environment for the anxious students, giving them an edge to move forward towards the success that they deserve. The small snapshot unit, Information Literacy, provided a glimpse into the future for students who suffer from academic anxiety. Considering the findings, the 10th grade students who participated in the Information Literacy unit did significantly impact the post-test scores when compared to the 10th grade students who did not participate in the online blended information literacy unit. One would have to question if traditional teaching methods are sufficient platforms for all students. It goes without saying that this one study does not give educators all the information that is needed to determine the best way to deliver instruction to students who experience anxiety in the classroom. Many studies must be completed to make such a conclusion. This research opens the dialogue for educators to consider potential changes in the delivery of their curriculum. Given more time, the preceding study would be a possible candidate for the Midwestern Educational Research Association. The NWRA provides a forum that mentors research skills while conducting and dismantling educational research throughout the United States. With their guidance and reach, this study could possibly gain interest to those who deal with educational issues. Educators should seek to apply best practices in education that will enhance a student's ability to learn. Teachers can help students achieve this goal by making their curriculum reflect a positive learning environment. This may mean changing the role of the teacher from knowledge suppliers to facilitators who know how to lead their students to the best education possible. Knowledge should build confidence and motivate the students to success, and the best way to reach the anxious student could possibly be through a blended online program.